Ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls from Lima Shenanigans of 1977, it's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's time for the NXT Event Center Wrestling Report. And now here's the man that will bring you all the wrestling happenings from the WWE Superstars of tomorrow, Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode number 2623 of the show. Thank you very much for your patience, everyone, on this episode. I tried starting this episode a couple more times. Like, okay, I need to do something here. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. So we gotta talk about NXT before Halloween Havoc, and that's the excuse me, wow, man, what's going on? Anyways, the calling kicked off NXT, and Tatum Paxley addressed the NXT universe. As you know, she won a 20-woman battle royal last week to earn her shot at the title at Halloween Havoc, and then she thanked Izzy Dane, the culling and all, for influence interrupts her. JC Jane talks some smack to Izzy Dane, and then they said, hey, how will we prove it tonight in a tag match? And they said, okay. And then all four women fought. And then JC Jane tried to get in her licks, but Dame and Paxley took their turns beating up on JC Jane. So Stax and Ariana Grace, good Lord. I'll tell you one thing. My hat is off to, Channing Stax Lorenzo. I'll tell you what, Ariana Grace, she's starting to want to be one of my favorite crushes. But my hat's off to Channing Stax Lorenzo for having her. So, and pick the winner. And so my hat is off to you, Mr. Stax. They were talking about Stax says it was a good thing that your dad got me a title shot, and it's like, here we go again, and then Javon Evans and Leon Slater like, nah, hell no, like, hey. And then Leon Slater says, hey, let's talk about when we team up and go crazy. He said, hey, well, listen, we'll worry about that after the match. You sure? Yeah, go focus on yourself. Nah, I'm just playing. We'll go out there together, right? So the exhibition with title on the line, Leon Slater versus Stax. Javon Evans had to goof around on commentary for a bit with Vic Joseph and Booker T. And then Ariana Grace tried to get involved in the matchup, but then she actually got knocked off the apron. And Javon Evans catches her being a gentleman and smiling. And then he puts her down gently. Stax like, what are you doing? And he's like, it was so funny. But Leon Slater took advantage of it. Ends up pinning Channing Stax Lorenzo to keep the title. And then decided, hey, let's issue a challenge. Halloween Havoc. Who you got? Doesn't matter if you're from TNA, NXT, what? But then they said, what about that other organization? And I thought they would have mentioned AEW. I said, oh, that'll be interesting. Oh, that will be interesting. But then it was AAA that responded, and Mr. Iguana and La Parka, not the original La Parka from WCW. I think it's like In the Family or something like that. And a new La Parka, but nonetheless, it's La Parka. It's as though Mr. Iguana says, hey, how about this? You two versus us two at Halloween Havoc. And they're like, oh yeah. So I liken the team of Evans and Slater as it's sort of like if you admit it's a hodgepodge of tag teams. You talk about the Hardys and the Rockers and the Rock and Roll Express, these high-flying teams. You can mix them up with Harlem Heat and the Allied Powers. Lex Luger and the British Bulldog, because Leon Slater's from England, and got Javon Evans from the States, that boy bouncy. And and you got yourself Leon Slater and Javon Evans. I mean, let's go. So that match is added to Halloween Havoc. There are 6 matches on the card. 5 of the 6 are title matches. So then it was the Men's speed first round, Zachary Wentz versus Zachary Wentz of TNA, formerly known as Nash Carter in NXT, who is currently dating one of the most gorgeous looking women on the planet, Gigi Dolan, a.k.a. Priscilla Kelly. Another lucky guy. Let me tell you. I don't know how these guys score these chicks, man. Let me tell you. Anyways, it was Zachary Wentz versus Jasper Troy. Jasper Troy won in dominant fashion. Kaylani Jordan ends up getting kicked out of the women's locker room because, you're part of TNA now. And Jordan Grace was upset. He's like, you serious? And then Kaylani Jordan starts snapping at Jordan Grace. I think Kaylani Jordan's got a heel turn coming. It's seeing that happen, and all of a sudden, I think Kaylani Jordan's going to realize something, and she's going to snap. I think once she snaps, it ain't going to be pretty for that locker room at all. And then Dark State addresses beating up on the Hardys, and they said they'll get their belts back in Halloween Havoc. But then the Hardys are back into the compound responding to them, and they decided to morph into the Broken Hardys to the point where they have an AI spider come alive. And I'm going, and the tree starts talking, delete, delete. And then they got a stone bird saying delete, delete, and the head rolls up. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Halloween Havoc, even the pumpkins say delete, delete, and the skeletons say delete, delete. It was a spook, and they got the kids, Rebby Hardy saying delete, delete. Everybody, it's like everything in the Hardy compound is delete, delete. And Dark State has decided to step into this one. It's going to be a broken rules match for the NXT Tag Team titles. So there's that. Then Zarya was talking to an injured Sol Ruka who was on crutches, and I was like, uh-oh, this is not good. And Ava does address the Ruka, and Ruka says, hey, I got injured on SmackDown this past Friday. I'm not medically cleared to compete for Saturday. And then Blake Monroe comes out and goes, I should be the number one, I should be the champion, and forfeiting her title. But then Zarya stepped up and said, you know what, I'll defend the title in her honor. I'll defend the title in her stead. So I just say just make the belt vacant, and whoever wins the title. That's basically what it should come down to. If I was general manager of NXT, I said, you know what, Zarya, I appreciate it, but here's what I'm going to do. I'll vacate the title until this Saturday. This Saturday, it'll be Blake Monroe versus Zarya. Whoever wins will be the NXT Women's North American Champion, and once you're medically cleared, Soul, you get your first shot. Technically a rematch. That's what I would have done. But I digress. Zarya wants to defend it in her stead. I hope Zarya beats up on Blake Monroe, but who knows for sure. Then Miles Borne was talking to Tavion Heights about winning matches, getting on a roll, and then all of a sudden Josh Briggs interrupts them and talks some smack to either one of them, and both of them, he walks away, both of them feel disgusted about it. And then you got the number 2 matchup in the men's speeds first round. Axiom versus Shawn Legacy, and within 3 seconds left of the matchup, Axiom wins the match. And then Ethan Page addresses El Hijo del Wagner Jr. as they go at it for the men's North American title in a Day of the Dead match. Then Ren Sinclair was then this was a barn burner brawl of a tag match. Hank and Tank, former tag champs, going up against OTM out the mud. Lucian Price, and I forget the other. Bronco Nima. Bronco Nima and Lucian Price. Almost forgot the man's name. They went at it, and then OTM ended up winning the matchup, and they continued to attack Hank and Tank after the matchup. They want to prove their dominance. Good luck. You got Dark State running around busting people up. Ren Sinclair was talking to Charles Dempsey on the phone, nervous as it is. And he said, okay, Charles, I'll see you, bye. And then she tried to get Lash Legend to join on a celebration. But he said, yeah, stupid, right? And then Kendall Gray stood up for Ren Sinclair, got in the face, and Lash Legend said he had bigger things to worry about. So, women's tag match, Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley against Laney Ree and JC Jane. Fallon Henley gets involved during the matchup, but overall, her her involvement paid off because JC Jane and Laney Reed picked up the victory. And then they continued to attack Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley after the matchup. Izzy Dame got knocked out of the ring. Tatum Paxley fought all three members of Fatal Influence off and ends up holding the title in the end. Then there was the NXT title contract signed between Trick Williams and Ricky Saints. Trick Williams talks to Smack first, and Ricky Saints getting annoyed by him, talks to Smack. They both signed the contract, and they get in each other's face. They start arguing. Security tried separating them, and as they were separating Ricky Saints, Williams sucker punched him. Williams went through a table, courtesy of Ricky Saints, the NXT champion. However, we're not done yet. We're going to I'm going to make my picks and predictions earlier on. I know you're doing rant and rave, but I'm going to do it right now. We got the NXT title on the line. It'll be Ricky Saints defending it against Trick Williams. Excuse me, I meant to put the champion's name first. But then the women's title on the line. JC Jane defends against Tatum Paxley. Tag titles on the line. Hardys versus Dark State. And North American title on the line in a Day of the Dead match. El Hijo del Wagner Jr. and Ethan Page going at it. Ethan Page defending his title. The Hardys Dark State matchup will be a broken rules matchup. That means anything goes. Women's North American title will be on the line. Zarya will defend the title in Sol Ruka's stead as she defends it against Blake Monroe. And then the team of X Division champ Leon Slater teaming with that boy Bouncy Javon Evans against La Parka and Mr. Iguana. Well, I know where I'm going with this one. NXT title, I'm predicting Saints to retain. I'm also picking JC Jane to retain the Women's Championship. Dark State to win it. To win the titles back, they have the two-man advantage. I think I'm going to pick Ethan Page to retain the men's North American title. I got a feeling that Monroe is going to be the new champion. Okay? And then for Evans and Slater, they're going to operate as a tag team. Evans and Slater. So those are my picks right there. So I will reiterate those picks for Rant and Rave. So that's what I'm going to do. So that will come in handy. So that is all the time that we have on this show. Episode 2623 of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. And I will see you tomorrow's episode, Little Joker's Wild for you, and AEW Dynamite, The Fallout from Wrestle Dream. So I will see you guys later. Have a good night, everybody. And until next episode comes rolling around. Jeepers creepers. Okay. Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and Do It for Bob Saget production, and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.